Hello viewers, I have recovered from my great computer failure of early 2019, and the two anomalies that have been within this computer prior to the crash are still there. And that's after I've reinstalled all the software. So I don't know what the deal is with these anomalies. They've been there since I got the computer, and neither of them are untenable things to have to live with, but they are both extremely aggravating, if nothing else just because I cannot figure out why they're occurring or how to stop them. So the first anomaly is within the restart sequence of the computer. If you shut it down and then turn it back on, it's fine. But if you restart, it's not fine. When it goes to access the bootloader, it just locks. I think actually it locks even before it gets the bootloader. And it has something to do with the keyboard. I know, that much I do know, because depending on which keyboard you have plugged in, it'll behave differently. So far, I've come across two keyboards that will work with the computer where it doesn't have the anomaly. One of them was a cheap Dell thin keyboard, probably the one that came with it, or that would have shipped with it if it came with one. And the other one was a cheap mechanical keyboard. The cheap mechanical keyboard I can live with. The other Dell one, I can't live with that one. It's a bad keyboard. But anyways, with those two keyboards, it works. You can restart it, you can turn it off, turn it on, and there's never an issue. But if you use other keyboards, if you use other Dell keyboards, if you use other no-name keyboards, if you use very reputable keyboards, it has an anomaly. So usually what happens is, prior to the crash, it used to hang on error lights, I want to say it was 1, 3, and 4. Now I think it hangs on error lights 1 and 2. So I'm going to go ahead and restart it. Right now it's running. I'm going to do a restart here. And let's see what happens. So it just shut down. It's off. Hello? Oh, there we go. Came back on. The Dell splash screen BIOS is on there. It just loaded up and went all the way through. And you have got to be kidding me. There's the bootloader. Alright. Not having this thing like a fool on me on video. I'm going to go into Windows and I'm going to restart it again. That restart came out of Linux. So maybe that's different. I don't know. I really don't restart the computer that much because I know it usually doesn't work. Alright, I'm going to give it a restart command through Windows. So that was different. That time it didn't actually power down. So maybe Linux shuts it down a little bit differently when it does the restart. So the screen's back on. It went through the Dell BIOS thing. The bar loaded up. And now what's happening is, this is as far as it gets. There's signal on the monitor, but it's just blank. Oh, what was that? Okay, so that time it went through. It just took an unreasonable amount of time. And I think it had error lights 1 and 2 on there. I'm going to go, okay, now see the keyboard's not working. And now it's restarting again because I couldn't move the OS selection out of Linux, so now it's going to restart going to Linux. I'm going to restart it again, and I'm going to Windows one more time. Perhaps, maybe if you just let it sit for a very long time, it eventually works. That's very interesting. See, this is the other thing that drives me nuts about this. It's always a little different. Sometimes it just never works. Sometimes I get a weird thing on the screen where it says no keyboard detected, press F1 to continue, and you can press F1 and continue, and it detects the keyboard just fine. So, I don't know. I'm going to go into Windows again. Now let's get this booted up here. And now we're going to do a restart, and I'm going to keep the camera on the screen this time to see if it does that crazy error with the keyboard detection thing. So we got error lights 1 and 2 on the machine now. And nothing on the screen. Okay, we just had the keyboard error message flash, and now it doesn't work. So, although this is different than I remember, perhaps I've just never waited long enough to see what happens. Either way, the keyboard doesn't work. I can't make a selection. The bootloader is worthless. Absolutely worthless. So, that's anomaly number one. Highly irritating, but, you know, again, I can deal with it because I just turn the computer off and turn it back on if you have to restart it for whatever reason. Normally I don't restart the computer, I just turn it off. When I'm done, I turn it back on and want to use it. So anyways, let's go into Windows, and I'm going to show you the other anomaly. This anomaly is one related to playing videos. Let's see, so that time it came up pretty quickly. The keyboard is working and everything seems to be fine and dandy. But again, it was a complete power down. The machine powered itself off completely and then came back on. So it was almost like turning it off and then turning it back on, even though I hit restart. Whatever. Anyways, I'm going to log in here. And I'll open internet browser here. We're going to use Google Chrome. It doesn't really make a difference as what web browser you use. They all behave this way. Tried every web browser under the sun trying to get this fixed. Yeah, that's not connecting because the network drives are not turned on. And do a new incognito window here just to rule out any of the extensions or whatever that's in there. And now this anomaly here, let me explain the anomaly first. The anomaly is a video just does not play correctly. If you play like a 60 FPS video, it plays at like 3 FPS and it's all choppy and screwed up. Only when it's in full screen. When it's regular, it's fine. That's on the second monitor. On the primary monitor, it plays fine, full screen, half screen, a quarter screen, whatever screen size you want to make it. And the reason it's so aggravating is because the computer should have more than enough power to play a video in full screen. It's a 750 Ti. I don't know why that's not showing the Ti part, but anyways. And it is a 4-core processor, relatively quick. So it has more than enough processing power to perform this task, but for whatever reason it won't do it. So here we go to my channel. Oh, what happened there? Oh, I must have put the wrong punctuation. And excuse me. Let's see a video that's got a lot of motion in it. Let's try this one. I think this one has some motion in it. So we'll start with this on the primary monitor, so you can see how it's supposed to work. Let's get through that. No. Okay. I'm going to change it to 1080p 60, and you can see it plays smoothly, like you would expect it to. Okay, so that's working, and since I know people like numbers, the numbers here pretty healthy. It dropped 3 frames at some point. It just dropped a few more when it changed the background picture. Now it's buffering because it's not enough internet speed. But now that that's all worked out, it's back to playing perfectly fine again. So you can see on this monitor it works. It's playing smooth. Now if I take this over to the other monitor, it's still working fine in the small player. And actually it works fine in the big player too. Well, maybe not so much. Let's go back to where there's some movement here. Yeah, it's playing okay. But now the minute I go to full screen, watch this number drop frames. It's dropping frames like there's no tomorrow. And the quality of the video is deplorable. You can see it's all choppy. It's awful. And it's not loading down the system at all. It's hardly even using any of the resources whatsoever. So I really do not understand why it does that. Now, to throw a curveball here, it works fine. Oh, wait, there's one other thing I want to note about this. Everything on this monitor has some frame rate issues. For instance, if you watch this window open and close, the arrow motions, you'll see they're not very smooth. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this window now. It was very choppy. You could see every frame get drawn. Whereas if I open and close a window on the primary monitor, it's much better. It's still not perfect, but it's much better. Closes relatively smoothly. So that's another thing I don't quite understand. So now that you've seen that, I'm going to go, as much as I thoroughly abhor Windows 10, it doesn't have this anomaly in it. And other operating systems do. Windows Vista has it, Windows XP has it, Linux has it, but it manifests a little differently. We're going to go into Linux and look at it on there too. And I hit restart accidentally. I was distracted. So let's see what happens here. Usually this is where I get impatient and I just turn it off. And I'm going to do that now because who's got time for this? It's making a boring video. Oh, well, while this is starting back up, I have been asked to do some more computer videos. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video in the future about Windows 10. I'm going to go through, I'm going to install it, clean out a computer, fresh install. And I'm going to go through there and explain why I thoroughly dislike the operating system. And although I've been largely criticized for my opinion of it, I think if you listen to the reasons and see what I'm talking about, it may not be such a minority opinion anymore. Okay, let's log in here. And get a video going here. Oh, here we go. One of numerous things I absolutely can't stand about this operating system. Okay, gotta use the other browser. We'll get into that one in another video. This is so annoying to use this. Okay, anyways. Let's go to YouTube and I'm going to search. No, go away. Just let me use the doggone computer. Let's see how much. Okay, oh, look at that. I'm the first result. Is that? No, it's different. Let's look at my video for a second. Where is the video that I want? Here it is. So, full screen, 1080p 60, and look at that, it plays perfectly fine. And get the stats thing up there, 0 dropped frames. I'm going to go ahead and move it to the other monitor. 0 dropped frames, it plays perfectly, very smooth motion. So I don't know why it works in this operating system. I find that extremely annoying. So this to me kind of says that it's not a hardware issue, okay? But at the same time, the fact that it still doesn't work after everything was totally reinstalled will lead me to believe it's not a software issue. So let's go into Linux and see how it manifests in there, because that is a little bit different. Now, I have seen this anomaly with the Windows 7 graphics on another computer. Interestingly enough, one of the computers I use at work has the same anomaly. It's also a Dell Optiplex, but it's much older. And it didn't always do that. It just did that like a year ago. It started doing that. And so I thought maybe it was some kind of an update or whatever that they applied to the system that made it do that. So when I was reinstalling when I reinstalled Windows 7 on here, the first thing I did before I put a single update, patch, program, whatever, I played a video, and it still did it. So it's not something that I'm installing or saying that I manipulate or something that I do to make it screw up. It just doesn't work. So let's get in here and let's take a look at how it manifests on this operating system. Now, of course, this is a different browser. This is Google Chromium. So, yeah, I don't think it makes a difference, though, because like I said before, I've tried numerous browsers and none of them have worked. Let's get that Holmes window fan video back up. And, okay. I don't like these long ads. I much prefer the skippable format. They're just a little bit too long. If it was like 6 seconds, I'd be okay with it, but it's too much. Alright, 1080p. And yes, I do not have ad blocker on my computer. That's a whole nother ethical issue, which maybe I'll do a video on that too, because I have been asked for computer videos. So it's playing okay in this small player. Let's get the stats thing up. No drop frames are showing. Let's go to the bigger player. It's still working fine. Okay, let's go full screen. And it's not perfect. It's a little jittery at times. It's got a little bit of a tear to it. But it is kind of working. It's definitely working better than the Windows 7 was. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a jerky couple frames there. There's a tear right up across the top. So it's not perfect, but it's largely working. And see how it fills the whole screen. And you're saying, well, duh, of course it fills the whole screen. Well, not duh, because look what happens over here. Oh, what in the world? I didn't want that. See over here. Oh, well, before it wasn't filling the whole screen. It was doing something real weird, which I've seen it do in Windows 7 before. Sometimes it leaves a little bit of a bar on the right side, like maybe a 1/4 inch on this monitor, and it doesn't fill the whole screen, and it doesn't work very well. So let's see how is it playing here. So it's playing about the same. There is some drop frames. It's got the tear at the top, but it's for the most part it's working. I would kind of consider this watchable. It's not that bad, aside from the tear. So it's kind of okay in Linux. It's perfectly fine in Windows 10, but definitely the worst one is Windows 7. And actually, I just remembered that there was another anomaly in regards to playing the videos that shows up in Windows 7, where it doesn't always fill the screen. And I want to go back to that into the Windows 7 real quick, just one more time. To show that, because it's very odd. Sometimes if you put the browser full screen and then put the video full screen, it'll play okay, but it doesn't fill the screen properly. It's very, very strange. I'm going to have to restart this thing with the button because it's going to lock up with the keyboard error at this point. And it makes that stupid noise because I had to replace the disk drive because it's separating compact discs. And little do I know, this compact disc reader is very, very noisy. So this is what I was talking about here. I'm going to get the camera onto the other window here, or the other screen rather. So if I go to YouTube again, and I play this, and then if I make this full screen, oh, here's that Dog Garden 15-second ad again. I don't like these 15-second ads, they're too long. Okay, so now the window is full screen. No drop frames yet, and if I go to full screen on the video, alright, it's making a fool out of me twice now. It's not doing what it used to do. wonder if that's got something to do with the incognito window. Ah, yes, it's doing it. Okay, great. So look at this. It's not filling the screen. As you can see, the cursor can go over here, but the video is not there. And it's like the scroll bar or something is there. It's really odd. But now here's what's even more odd. The video, well, actually it's not playing too well right now. Sometimes it'll play okay if you put it into full screen and with the browser maximized, which makes no sense to me, but well, so it's not doing that this time. But anyways, the point is it's got major issues with playing videos. I don't understand what it is. It's highly annoying. I've tried every driver under the sun for the video card. I've tried the onboard video as well, and I don't know if it's not powerful enough to draw two monitors. It doesn't quite play it properly, but the anomaly is a little bit different. Either way, it doesn't want to cooperate. I did try one other expansion graphics card in here as well, but again, I think it just wasn't strong enough to render two 1080p screens. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't understand it. If you have any idea what is doing this, feel free to weigh in the comments box and let me know if you have any suggestions, because I really would like to get the screen video thing fixed. So anyways, that's it. I'm not sure why in the world this is saying it's 1 o'clock. This is another thing that Windows 10 does, and it does this on both of my computers, and I want to take it out of the hard drive because it does this. It changes the clock. I don't know how it does this. It changes the clock on all the operating systems. And so if I ever go into Windows 10, the clock is wrong, and then all of a sudden it's wrong on all the other operating systems as well. It's so annoying. Anyways, that's for a whole different video. So those are the anomalies in my computer. Help me if you can. If you don't know, just don't pull things out of thin air and post them in the comments box, because that's not helpful. But if you have an idea as to what this may actually be and how to fix it, I would love to hear constructive suggestions.